All right, friends, big breaking news on this Saturday, March 7th. UFC 326 is actually happening as I'm recording this right now, but at approximately 10 p.m. Eastern time, our long international nightmare came to an end. Why? Because the UFC finally announced the White House card. They're calling it UFC Freedom 250. Of course, July 4th will be the United States' 250th birthday. Obviously, this event is happening on June 14th, a Sunday night, which just so happens to be the president's birthday, and they finally announced it, and so now we can talk about it. The main event is, in fact, going to be Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje for the lightweight title, a unification bout. Of course, Gaethje won that belt back on January 24th. Ilia is the man. He won that belt in June of last year, and he's coming back to fight in the main event of the White House card. So it's Spain/Georgia versus the United States on June 14th. That's the main event. The co-main event is Alex Pereira moving up to heavyweight to fight Ciryl Gane for the interim heavyweight title. More on that in a moment. Also on the card, I'm reading this because I don't want to mess it up. Sugar Sean O'Malley against Ayman Zahabi. So that's the United States versus Canada. By the way, Pereira, Brazil versus France. So there's one fight that doesn't feature an American, although he does live in Connecticut and sort of feels like an adopted American at this point. Michael Chandler does end up on the card. He goes up against Mauricio Hufi. Bo Nickel versus Kyle Dawkins, America versus America, and Steve Garcia versus Diego Lopez. They love Diego Lopez. He's getting this opportunity after just getting a chance to fight for the belt. So in the end, as I told you, 6 fights, 2 title fights. It was not the 7 to 8 title fights as was initially promised. It's a marquee main event. I know that there are some people who are upset. I know that there are some people who are trying to say, like, hey, this is a letdown. This is an incredible 6-fight card. And it was never going to be 7 to 8 title fights. That was never going to happen. That would screw up the rest of their schedule. Ilia Topuria coming back against Justin Gaethje is a massive, massive fight. It is a marquee fight. It is one of the biggest fights of the year. Topuria coming back after everything he's been through, almost exactly a year between fights, is a very big deal. Pereira being on there, moving up to heavyweight, trying to get a belt there, potentially setting up a fight against Tom Aspinall. If he beats Ciryl Gane, is a very big deal. If Gane wins, then you've got this huge fight against Aspinall. They didn't strip Tom, which I like. Interim title, I'm okay with. And then the rest of the card, O'Malley versus Zahabi is in a very important fight at 135 pounds. Chandler gets the fight on the White House card, so they screwed him with the Conor McGregor thing, but at least he gets to be on the card, which I like as well. Bo Nickel had to be on there. He's Donald Trump's favorite fighter. Don't tell that to Jorge Masvidal or even Colby Covington. And a fun fight between Steve Garcia and Diego Lopez. I mean, I'd give this a 9 out of 10. Now, this effectively ends the career of one Jon Jones. And I can tell you, they did talk to Jon Jones. I told you this before he told us, and then he told us. And I know they spoke, and they just couldn't come to terms. That's what I was told. Now, it wasn't the $30 million, but it was a big number, and they couldn't come to terms. They wanted Pereira versus Jon Jones. There's no doubt about that. But as I was hearing all week long, there was skepticism that this fight could get done. There was massive skepticism. And I also know that Topuria versus Gaethje happened rather quickly as well. And so my feeling is, and I just want to say, the UFC put the fear of God in every MMA manager out there. Like I'm not really in the fight breaking news business anymore, but I did poke around in the dying days. Once Dana White said that they had to, I wanted to see what was up. I even told guys, like, I don't even care. Like, I'm not trying to break this. I'm just curious. That's the God's honest truth. They put the fear of God in these managers, and they've been doing this for a long time, but never quite like this. So kudos, and everyone kept to their word. Everyone stuck to it. My feeling is they wanted Jon versus Pereira. They couldn't get that done. And whether that would have been for the vacant title or interim, I don't know. I think it would have been crazy to do it for the vacant. Interim, I'm fine with. It'll just make the return that much bigger, and Tom seems to be turning the corner. So you're getting history, and it's the only fight that doesn't feature an American in it. But I don't think anyone really cares about that. You are staring at a situation, though, where the end of the White House card could be, a European fighter standing over an American, which is a risk. There's no doubt about that. That is a massive risk. And there's a strong likelihood that that happens. But Topuria versus Gaethje is a great fight, and it makes all the sense in the world, and it's a very big fight. Pereira moving up, trying to make history is a very big deal. And he's one of the most beloved fighters in the history of the UFC, certainly one of the most beloved fighters on the roster right now. Gane coming back, he's got a lot to prove. I think the hope was to do Gane versus Aspinall right away, but that's taken longer, and you need a fight here, so them's the breaks. O'Malley's one of the most popular American, if not the most popular American fighter on the roster right now, going up against Canada's own Ayman Zahabi, closest I'm going to get to the White House. That's a big-time fight. Not that long ago, O'Malley was saying he didn't know who Ayman was, and now here he is fighting on the White House card. Could you imagine what the hair is going to look like on June 14th? I love the fact that Chandler's on the card. I love that. I hate that he's not getting the McGregor fight, but this is the next best thing. So I love the fact that they at least kept their word in that regard. And him versus Hoofi is a great fight. It's an important fight at 155 pounds as well. Bo was an obvious one. Little surprised we're not seeing Gable Steveson. I know that was discussed, but he's not debuting after all on this card. That would have made a lot of sense. And the other one that obviously would have made a ton of sense was Kayla Harrison, but my understanding is just not 100% ready, and that's unfortunate. So certainly not what they probably thought they were going to get some 6 or so months ago, but this is what they're getting. And I know people are going to bitch, and I know people are going to moan, and they're going to say, we were expecting more, this, that, and the other. I told you Conor was not going to be on this card. He's alluded to this in the last 24 hours or so. July 11th is the date that they want him for. Let's see if they could get that done. But as I told you earlier in the week, there are big fights to be made, and this regime with those big names that are asking for top dollar are just having a hard time getting those fights done. And so let's see. My understanding was the numbers being discussed from Jon's side was akin to what Conor Benn was getting. They've opened up a can of worms here with this Conor Benn situation. And so those top fighters are going to say, wait a second, you're giving that guy that? Don't even talk to me unless I'm in that ballpark. And as a result, it looks like, unless something crazy happens, unless there's another deal to come, that could be the way in which Jon Jones's career ends, because he wanted to be on this card, but obviously he wants to get paid, and I don't blame him. He deserves that and then some. So in the end, we are getting Topuria. They salvage it with that one. Golly, could you imagine if he wasn't on there? That would have been a disaster. But in the end, I like the card very much. It's a solid six-pack of fights. It's the best six-pack of fights that we've gotten in quite some time. It's a massive fight at the top. It's an important historic fight in the co-main, and then a bunch of popular American fighters and fights with stakes attached to them sprinkled throughout. We'll see where it's going to air. Will it be CBS, Paramount Plus? Will it be a mix? They haven't announced that just yet, but we can now at least talk about a fight card that is happening a little over 3 months away. Let me know in the comments what you think. We're going to talk much more about this on the post show and also on Monday's show, but I wanted to get this out there to inform you all of the news. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did they nail it? Did they not? What are you grading this card? Who did you really want? Who do you like? Who do you don't like? Which fight do you like the most? What do you think? I dig it. I love it. I'm excited about it. And I'm most happy that we could just move on with our lives, and now we know what it is. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.